Hello everybody and welcome back to another Binding of Isaac top 10 video. Man, it's been a little while since we've done a legitimate top 10. Today we're looking at top 10 familiars. Okay, hold up, stop the music, stop. Let's have a talk. Binding of Isaac Rebirth.gamepedia.com states that familiars are, and I quote, small companions usually generated by passive items that follow and assist the character. Effects of familiars include, but are not limited to, pickup generation, shooting familiars that fire their own tiers at enemies, and orbitals that act as projectile shields and or deal contact damage. That means that by definition, this little guy is a familiar. Would he be the best familiar? Possibly, but for the sake of this video, we're not counting him as a familiar, and we're also not going to count orbitals as familiars. We're also not counting things that follow behind you but don't do anything as a familiar, cough cough 9 lives. What we are going to focus on are items that follow you or are present in the room that benefit the player directly. Top 10 orbitals will come at a different time. As always, I want to reiterate the fact that this is entirely opinion based and you may not agree with my list. That's okay, just let me know your opinion in the comments down below. Let's hop right in. As always, we have some special lists in our top 10, and we're going to start with the controversial items. This is essentially the part where I list 2 items not necessarily revered by the community, except for that one guy who will scream bloody murder at me in the comments if I don't mention them. They can be good, they can be bad. Isaac's Heart. Isaac's Heart is easily the most misunderstood item in the Isaac universe. So many people are jaded by the idea of this item being absolutely horrible that they would never pick it up even if it can do a lot of positive stuff. It can stop you from stepping on spikes, you can play infinite blood banks, getting into curse rooms without taking damage, and also, well, taking more damage against enemies than usual. I really should do an Isaac in-depth on Isaac's Heart because I feel it could be the item that is the most split in the Isaac community in terms of its controversy. Personally, I like it, but let me know what you guys think. Bob's Brain. This one also hurts me to have in the controversial section and not in the actual top 10. People, Bob's Brain is a good item. This guy does massive damage to enemies and can carry your run through the first few floors of the game. As long as you don't stupidly shoot it, it's never gonna hurt you. But if I had it in the top 10, people would have been at my apartment door with pitchforks, so sadly he has to stay here in this list. Screw you, chat, and screw you, Flaky. Honorable mentions. Demon Baby. Demon Baby is the kind of familiar that just appears on runs and does his own thing, but the things he does are good things. There's no way for Demon Baby to be bad, and he's only going to benefit you. Yeah, you have to be pretty close to enemies for him to do his thing, but experienced players can get Demon Baby to do some pretty decent damage in some rooms. If this was a top 10 shooting familiars list, Demon Baby would absolutely make the top 10 and maybe even be top 5, but sadly there's more familiars in the pool than just shooters. Bags. Tyler, that's not an item. Yeah, I know, but there are a bunch of bag items in the game that are familiars and are all insanely helpful. Bomb Bag, Sack of Pennies, Mystery Sack, Rune Bag, these are all good items that give us good consumables that can help us on our run. Together they're all great, but individually it's hard for them to crack the top 10. I will say that it was tough keeping Rune Bag out because it can be an incredible item, and when Blank Card is found on a run, it's essentially a game break, but I think grouping all the bags was the better way to go. Top 10. Number 10. BUMBO. I was going to prepare the pitchforks already if I didn't have him on here. Yes, the legend himself, Mr. BUMBO. BUMBO is a good item. He's not the best item, but he's a good item. If you can get him the max capacity of coins on a run and continue to feed him, he has the opportunity to spew out chests, items, consumables, and more. He also does deal contact damage, which means Gnawed Leaf is a great synergy, but let's all be honest here. BUMBO is mainly just a meme. A good meme, but a meme. Number 9, Dry Baby. This little guy is a reference to the nearly invincible Dry Bones from Super Mario, and that's a great way to describe this guy. He's a little indestructible being that stays and blocks shots while occasionally just ruining the life of everybody in a room. A lot of people are going to be really mad at me when they see Dry Baby on this list, but not Farting Baby, and I'm going to be level with you. Farting Baby blocks shots, yes, happy days rejoice, but He also really doesn't do anything in return. Dry Baby gives you that return of occasional Necronomicon, and that puts him into the top 10. Number 8, Dark Bum. Raise your hand if you've been saved on a Blue Baby run by Dark Bum. Alright, I'm assuming that's everybody. That alone is a reason to have Dark Bum on this list, but Dark Bum isn't always an amazing item, and that's why he isn't as high here. People who need red hearts to survive a run are not going to get as much use out of Dark Bum because they're going to need the red hearts he collects. The Lost and Keeper make Dark Bum essentially entirely worthless, and in some ways detrimental since he can throw out the spiders. He's saved runs though, and that's why I like him. Number 7, Juicy Sack and Sack of Sacks. Tyler, you're cheating again. Okay, maybe, but I have a love for both of these items, but I'm not sure they deserve to have their own spot, and hey, it's my video so I can do whatever the hell I want. These are both sacks. Yes, I know, we had Sack of Pennies above and all that. Shut up. Juicy Sack, a lot of people are going to sit here and go, no, without ever offering an explanation as to why they're saying no. Hell, y'all gave my boy Penta hate on his video for including Juicy Sack, but he's very much right about it. Juicy Sack is a good item. It drops spiders. That automatically makes it good. Spiders are good. As for Sack of Sacks, a sack every few rooms can be insanely useful. Keys, cards, battery charges, you're gonna end up with a lot of consumables. So what's there to say? Love the sack. Number 6, Relic. You didn't know that our favorite Discord moderator was gonna be in this top 10. The Relic is just a really solid item defensively. A Spirit Heart every 4 rooms is ridiculous value. On floors that have 30 rooms, you're looking at 7 extra Spirit Hearts along with everything else you find on the floor. If we convert that to money, that's 35 cents you're getting every floor since Spirit Hearts are 5 cents in the shop. Yes, it is still useless for the Lost and the Keeper, which is why it's not higher on the list, but it has no downside like spiders, so it has to be placed above Dark Bum. Number 5, Daddy Longlegs. The only time I'm going to say the word daddy on my channel. Daddy Longlegs is fantastic. There's some cases where Daddy Longlegs can straight up carry your run. You can win a run with nothing but Daddy. Yes, it'd still be difficult, but this is that good of an item. If the damage was constant, it'd be higher, but a ballistic dad foot on enemies occasionally is super beneficial on a run and an absolute boss killer. Number 4, Succubus. The familiar suck. Honestly, I'm not sure Succubus should be this high on this list, but it's one of my favorite items, so I'm going to invoke my bias a little bit here. It's still a fantastic item. It's going to float around the room, dealing damage to enemies in its path, but it also has the double whammy of giving you extra damage occasionally as well. When you have situations like Cambion Conception or Box of Friends where you can get more than one Succubus, then things get real interesting because you can start to decimate rooms. It's really, really good. Number 3, Little Brimstone. In all seriousness, you can make cases for this to be number 1 because it can carry your run. A little guy shooting out Brimstone on command is powerful. Really powerful. Is it as powerful as actually having Brimstone? Well, no, but it still does good damage. It also used to be a special item, meaning that it was a bit rarer, but it no longer is, which means you can get this high-powered item even more often. Yes, for those that don't like Brimstone or charge-related items, this isn't going to be high on your list, but I really struggle to personally find any downsides to Little Brimstone. Number 2, Rotten Baby. Probably the most underrated item in all of the Binding of Isaac. Wake up, people. Rotten Baby is actually a top 25 item in the game. A constant array, keyword constant, of flies at enemies is insane damage. This is like having a not as powerful Guppy, which is obviously stupidly powerful. Rotten Baby never does any wrong. We already saw earlier in this video that blue flies themselves could be number 1 on this list, so why wouldn't Rotten Baby be top tier? Show some respect to his name. Love Rotten Baby. Number 1, Incubus. I'm sure most people saw this one coming, and yes, it is easily the best familiar. Hell, it's so powerful that they give it to Lilith to carry each Lilith run. Incubus is essentially a very slightly not as good 2020, which is a top 10 item in the game. Being able to shoot double of whatever your tiers will deal great damage and help decimate enemies. It also does synergize with most items like Brimstone, tier effects. Yes, there are some synergies that are not as fantastic, cough, cough, mom's knife, cough, cough, but overall, Incubus is top tier and easily number 1 on this top 10 familiars list. Familiars are some of the most underrated items in Isaac. We hear familiar and we think Brother Bobby, but there are some great familiars out there that can absolutely transform your run. If you enjoyed this top 10 familiars video, leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. Let me know what top 10s you want to see in upcoming videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!